Howdy, folks. Frank, KG6NLW here, and today I'm going to do a little follow up to the FT8 live stream I did last night. You can find the link down in the description below to that if you're interested. Today, we are going to be doing a little follow up to FT8 and how to do it. There were a couple questions that came in after the live stream that I think are worthy of answering, and I'm going to do a whole video about them. So stay tuned for more. So one of the many questions that got asked last night is why people don't Roger 73 or R73 out. Well, I'm waiting for a station over here that I haven't contacted yet that we can try this with. Well, let's try this one. It's a POTA station. We'll see what happens here. So you have this set of 6 messages that can be cycled through right here, right there. And a lot of people don't realize that for a good contact, now there's a hot topic debate about this. Some people say as long as you exchange call signs and signal reports, you're good. Others say you got to go through the full thing. For me, I go through the full thing. If I don't get that 73, it's not a full QSO. So as you can see up here, we're going through this QSO with this POTA guy. And while I'm waiting for the QSO to finish, I'm going to spot him. That way he's spotted for other people to see that he's calling CQ POTA and where he's at. So there's Roger 73, and then I'm sending 73 back. But you notice this window automatically popped up. That's because we got the Roger 73. If we don't get the Roger 73, what you can do is say that Roger minus 15. I sent that a couple times. If you don't see that happen, you can then manually click this TX4 button right here. You can manually click that and send that message, and that will usually prompt their side of FT8 to get it to the 73 message so that you can actually log it out. There are several other settings that we did not go over last night that you can take care of. You can, in miscellaneous, you can hide duplicate FT8 messages. That is a very important piece of information there too. Up here in mode, you can change which mode you're in. Decode, FT8 threads and decoding. You want to make sure your decoding cycle is set to 1. Your QSO receive frequency sensitivity is set to medium. Your decoder sensitivity is set to use low thresholds. Early start of decoder is on, and wideband DX call search is on. That way, you can get quick and easy early messages on. Auto sequencing. This is a key point that people don't work on too much. You can tell it how you want to respond to people. Do you want to call no one? Call the first person you heard? Call decoded till start of transmit interval? Or call based on end of decoding? I have it set on based on end of decoding there. So as soon as a receive cycle is done, that's when everything is decoded and set up. De-expedition, that's, for contesting in Fox and Hound mode, which is a very interesting mode to have. People wanted to know a little more about these sliders. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to default everything to 0. Let me just get rid of that. So as you can see up there, you can start to see the end of my last receive cycle there at the bottom compared to what I'm receiving now. You can see there's a lot less station noise now. And you don't want that. You want to be able to see where those stations are. So I move this bottom slider up. And in doing that, the display changes just a little bit, but not quite where I want it to be, okay? So let's move this other bottom slider up. Let's just bring it up to 10 a little bit. You want that bright orange, vibrant color so you can easily see where these stations are. So for example, you can see this station up here about 28, 24 or so is just starting to peek back into my display there. So I brought it up to 10. That's not quite enough. Let's bring it up to 20 and see what happens on this next decode cycle. And remember, we're keeping an eye out up here at about 28, 25. Actually, I'll put my little red marker right there so you can see. All right, so we're paying attention to that red and green marker set right there to see how that works itself out. So let's move this top slider up, let's say to 10, and see what happens there. All right, now we're starting to see a little more orange, which is good. And you can definitely see that that station up there is really starting to pop into the display, which is exactly what we want. So let's bump it up to 20 now. Now, remember, these are gain figures for spectrum, waterfall, waterfalls on top and spectrums on bottom. So, you know, how noisy, how not noisy do you want your waterfall? That's basically what this does. For me, I like to make sure there's minimal noise, but a lot of spectrum to it so that I can easily pick out these weaker stations. So, for example, N0 Papa Fox Sierra is the one transmitting here at 2820. And you can see the progression as we go up the waterfall here as to how much better I am seeing his signal on the waterfall now. And that is the important part. And a couple things that weren't mentioned in Grid Tracker last night that should have been. If you come over to this sidebar of Grid Tracker, if you tap on Grid Tracker, it makes it disappear. Tap on this little black arrow there, and it comes back. Let's go. That is my current heat map. So if you guys didn't see it last night, this is where and how I am being heard. And as I zoom in here, you can see nearby is not so great. Down here in the southwest is better. Let's actually go in because this is another setting you can change. Grid opacity. So if I want the grids to not be as bright, I can turn them down a little bit. I like to have them somewhere around 50 usually. Maybe 75. Yeah, 70 works. We'll just set it right there. Right at that number. So you can see I'm pretty hot down here into SoCal right now, and I'm obviously very hot up here into the Pacific Northwest up in this area. Little bit of heat out here to the East Coast, but not a whole lot. This heat map is nice because you can see as you zoom in exactly where your, what grid squares in particular you're the hottest in. So right now, 20 meters, I'm all up in the Los Angeles basin and the Inland Empire and into San Diego just a little bit. And then, of course, over here to the east a little bit more. And you can zoom out as pretty much to cover the whole world twice over here. And this is how I do it so that you can keep things nice and small, but still see everything. I bring it back over here. And I stay zoomed out, but I move it so that there's just a slight overlap, usually somewhere there in the Middle East. If you really wanted to, you can turn on time zone lines so that you can see, oh, that's Pacific time, and that's Mountain, and that's Central, and that's Eastern. Back here in the map view filters area, you can select what awards you want to see. So say I want to see worked all states, right? You can see, if you zoom in particularly, if you tell the data to go to logbook and turn your spots off, you can see per grid square view what states you've worked all the grid squares of. So as you can see down here, I still have bit in Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, and of course Texas, because everything's bigger in Texas, right, folks? So there's the worked all states, worked U.S. counties. So as you can see, I have quite a few of the counties filled in. I've confirmed, let's see here, in Nye County, Nevada, I have 4 contacts on 20-meter FT8, and I've gotten all 4 confirmed. And you can then narrow it down even more. Let's say I want to go to 15 meters. So you can see not only did my grid squares change, my counties changed too. So now Nye County, Nevada, I only have 1 contact. This can tell you just at a glance, and I can even make this big screen. This can tell you at a glance what you have worked county-wise and what you still need. So U.S. County, U.S. 48 is just the grid squares of the continental 48 states, because, of course, Alaska and Hawaii are DXCC for us. With that, folks, I hope this video helped you learn how to do FT8 even better than you could before. If I were to make a suggestion to the general audience, I would say get JTDX. I'll leave a link in the description below for it, and couple it with the grid tracker program that I showed you as well, and you will have absolute perfect results with everything. And if you missed it, I will also leave a link to the live stream from last night with Wes, Mr. Mud's Radio Time, in the description, so that you can go back and rewatch that and see how we set everything up in the radio settings, the general settings, the color settings, and more. And with that, folks, I want you to ham on, ham harder, and POTA on. I hope to hear you in the log 73, and have fun.